Captain Emily Walker stood at the bridge of the Earth defense ship Resolute, her eyes fixed on the massive alien vessel that had appeared just beyond Mars' orbit. The ship's strange, crystal-like design made it look more like a floating piece of art than a spacecraft. But Emily knew better than to judge aliens by human standards. "They're hailing us again, Captain," said Lieutenant Mark Peters from his communication station. Same message as before. Emily took a deep breath. 3 hours had passed since the alien ship first appeared, and their demands hadn't changed. "Put them through on the main screen," she ordered. The alien that appeared looked almost like a tall, thin human made of glass. Its transparent skin revealed flowing blue liquid instead of blood. This was Ambassador Exile of the Galactic Council, and he wasn't happy. "Captain Walker." Exile's voice came through with a slight electronic echo. "Your continued refusal to submit to standard peaceful species protocols is most concerning. We simply require your people to accept protective containment while we evaluate your civilization." Emily kept her voice calm and firm. "And as I've said before, Ambassador, Earth will not accept being put in a cage, no matter how nicely you wrap it up." She noticed how Exile's blue internal fluid swirled faster when she said this. "Captain, you don't understand." Exile's voice rose slightly. "Your world. Our scans show it's a Class 12 planet. The gravity, the atmospheric pressure, the predator ratio." He paused, his crystalline features showing what seemed like fear. "No civilized species could evolve in such conditions. It's impossible." Behind Emily, her crew continued their work, but she could feel their pride at Kyle's words. Humans had not only survived on their impossible world, they had thrived. "Ambassador," Emily said, "Earth has been home to humans for hundreds of thousands of years. We've built cities, created art, and now reached for the stars, all while living on what you call a death world." She stepped closer to the screen. "We're not asking for your protection. We're offering peaceful contact between equals." Form seemed to shimmer with agitation. "Equals. Captain, your species has evolved on a planet that would kill most sentient beings within minutes. Your bones are dense enough to shatter our strongest materials. Your muscles." He stopped, composing himself. "The Council's containment protocols exist for the galaxy's safety." Emily felt her patience wearing thin. "Ambassador, let me be very clear. Any attempt to contain Earth or its people will be met with resistance. We're happy to talk, trade, and build diplomatic relations, but it will be as free people, not specimens to be studied." The alien's next words came out almost as a whisper. "You're refusing the Council's authority." "We're refusing to be imprisoned," Emily corrected. "There's a difference." Kavtael's form stiffened. "Then you leave us no choice. The Council will be notified. A containment fleet will be dispatched." His image flickered. "For what it's worth, Captain, I am sorry." As the transmission ended, Emily turned to her crew. Their faces showed determination rather than fear. "Send word to Earth Command," she ordered. "Tell them diplomatic options have been exhausted. And get me Admiral Reynolds. He needs to know the Galactic Council just declared us too dangerous to be free." Lieutenant Peters worked his console, then looked up with a slight smile. "Captain, incoming message from Earth Command." They saw the whole thing. He paused. "Operation Defiant Shield is now active. All Earth defense forces are mobilizing." Emily nodded, a grim smile crossing her face. The Galactic Council thought humans were dangerous because they came from a harsh world. They were about to learn that humans were dangerous because they refused to bow to tyranny, no matter how well-intentioned it might be. "Well," she said to her crew, "it seems first contact isn't going to be as peaceful as we hoped. But if they want to see what Deathworlders can really do," she straightened her uniform, "let's show them why you don't try to cage humanity." The bridge crew turned back to their stations, their movements precise and determined. Humanity's first contact with alien life had just turned into a fight for freedom. And if there was one thing humans from Earth knew how to do, it was fight. Military officer James Cooper walked quickly through the underground halls of Earth Command. His footsteps echoed off the steel walls as he carried a tablet with information that would change everything. The Council's full classification of Earth had just been decoded, and it was worse than anyone had thought. He pushed open the door to the command center, where Admiral Reynolds and his team were already waiting. The large screen on the wall showed dozens of Earth's defense ships moving into position. "Sir," James said, trying to catch his breath, "you need to see this right away." He handed the tablet to the Admiral. "Our analysts just finished translating the complete Class 12 Deathworld designation." Admiral Reynolds, a tall man with gray hair and stern eyes, looked at the screen. His face grew darker as he read. "Are you absolutely sure about this translation?" he asked. "Yes, sir. We checked it 3 times. James pointed to specific parts of the text. "A Class 12 designation doesn't just mean they think we're dangerous. It means automatic quarantine. Their laws require them to either contain us or," he paused, "or remove the threat completely." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what remove the threat meant. "Show me the numbers," Reynolds ordered. James touched the tablet, bringing up more information. "The Council considers a normal world to be Class 3 or Class 4. They rate planets based on gravity, weather, predator numbers, and other factors." He took a deep breath. "Earth scored the highest they've ever seen. Our gravity is twice what they consider safe. Our weather is extremely volatile. And the number of predator species." He shook his head. "They think it's impossible for intelligent life to evolve here without becoming violent and unstable." Reynolds stood up straighter. "Well, they're about to learn how wrong they are." He turned to his communication officer. "Get me Captain Walker on the line, and bring up the long-range scans." The main screen split into 2 parts. On one side, Captain Walker appeared from her ship. On the other, a map showed hundreds of small dots moving toward Earth from different directions. "Captain," Reynolds said, "I assume you're seeing this." Emily nodded on the screen. "Yes, sir. The Council isn't wasting any time. We've counted at least 300 ships so far, all heading this way. They'll be here in less than 2 days. They're not coming to talk," James added. "The classification requires them to act quickly to prevent what they call contamination of normal space." Reynolds looked around the room at his officers. None of them showed fear, only determination. "Then we'll show them exactly what Earth can do. Lieutenant Mitchell's team has already found weaknesses in their shield technology. We may be outnumbered, but we're far from helpless." "Sir," James said, checking new data on his tablet, "there's something else. The public networks are starting to pick up the Council ships on amateur telescopes. People are going to know soon." Reynolds smiled slightly. "Good. Let them know." He pressed a button on his command console. "This is Admiral Reynolds to all Earth Defense Forces. As of now, we are at Condition 1. This is not a drill." He looked at the screen showing the approaching ships. "The Council thinks we're too dangerous to join their civilization. They expect us to panic, to fight among ourselves, to prove we're the savages they think we are." He shook his head. "Instead, we'll show them what humans are really made of." James watched as alerts began appearing on his tablet. All around the world, military bases were activating. Civilian defense plans were rolling out. Instead of chaos, Earth's people were responding with organized determination. "Captain Walker," Reynolds said to the screen, "maintain your position. The Council wants to see Deathworlders. Let's give them a proper Earth welcome." Emily smiled on the screen. "Yes, sir. My crew's ready." As James looked around the command center, he saw the same readiness on every face. The Council had made a serious mistake. They thought Earth's harsh conditions had made humans into monsters. They were about to learn that those same conditions had made humans into survivors. And survivors don't give up without a fight. "Send word to all commands," Reynolds ordered. Operation Defiant Shield is now fully active. Let's show the galaxy what Earth can really do. Lieutenant Lisa Mitchell stared at her computer screen in amazement. For 3 hours straight, she had been studying the data collected from the Council's ships, and what she found made her smile. She grabbed her tablet and ran through the busy halls of the research facility. "I need to see Admiral Reynolds right now," she told the guards outside the command center. They knew her clearance level and quickly let her pass. Inside, Admiral Reynolds was talking with his officers around a large table covered in glowing displays. The room buzzed with activity as people prepared for the coming fight. "Sir," Lisa said, trying to contain her excitement, "I found something big." She connected her tablet to the main screen. "Look at their shield frequencies." The display filled with wave patterns and numbers. Most of the officers looked confused, but Reynolds leaned forward with interest. "Their whole fleet uses the same shield pattern," Lisa explained in simple terms. "They've never needed to change it because they've never met anyone who could break through it." But she touched a few buttons, bringing up new data. Earth's weapons work differently than anything they've seen before. James Cooper, who was standing nearby, moved closer to look at the screen. "You're saying we can get past their shields?" "Better than that," Lisa said. "Their shields actually make our weapons stronger. They're designed to stop energy weapons, but they bounce our kinetic rounds around inside, making them do more damage." Reynolds smiled for the first time in days. "How sure are you about this?" "I ran the tests 50 times, Lisa answered. "It works every time. We don't need to overpower their shields. We just need to hit them in the right way." The Admiral turned to his communication officer. "Get this information to all ship commanders right away." He looked back at Lisa. "Good work, Lieutenant. This could change everything." Suddenly, the main screen lit up with a new message. Captain Walker's face appeared, looking serious. "Admiral," she said, "the Council ships are broadcasting on all frequencies. They're trying to talk directly to Earth's people." "Put it on screen," Reynolds ordered. The image changed to show Ambassador Exile. His crystal-like body seemed to glow as he spoke. "People of Earth," the alien said, "your leaders have refused our help. They deny the truth about your dangerous world. For the safety of the galaxy, we must contain your civilization. Do not resist. Accept our guidance, and you will be protected." Reynolds shook his head. "They still think we'll turn on each other. They don't understand us at all." But as they watched, something unexpected happened. Instead of panic, people around the world began sending messages back to the Council ships. Millions of voices, all saying the same thing. "We choose freedom." Lisa checked her tablet as new data came in. "Sir, look at this. Every military base on Earth is reporting in. They're all ready. And..." She paused, surprised. "Civilian volunteers are showing up everywhere, offering to help however they can." James nodded. "The Council thought calling us Deathworlders would scare us. Instead, it just reminded us how strong we really are." Reynolds stood up straight and looked at his officers. "Then let's show them what Earth can do. Send word to all commands. Operation Defiant Shield is moving to Phase 2. He turned to Lisa. "Lieutenant Mitchell, get your shield data to every ship in the fleet. Make sure they know exactly where to hit the enemy." "Yes, sir," Lisa said, already sending the information. On the main screen, they could see Earth's ships moving into their final positions. The Council's fleet was getting closer, but they were in for a big surprise. They thought humans would be scared, divided, and easy to control. Instead, they found a united planet ready to fight for its freedom. "Let them come," Reynolds said quietly. "Earth's children have survived everything this harsh world could throw at us. We're not about to let some aliens lock us up because they're afraid of what we might do." Around the room, people nodded in agreement. The Council was about to learn an important lesson. Never underestimate humans, especially when they stand together. Commander Robert Hayes watched from the bridge of his ship Thunderbolt as the Council's fleet appeared. Their ships looked like giant snowflakes made of crystal, beautiful but deadly. They filled the space around Earth's orbit, trying to look scary. "All weapons ready, Commander," his weapons officer reported, using Lieutenant Mitchell's targeting data. Robert nodded. The Council ships had formed a big circle around Earth, thinking they could trap humanity's ships. They didn't know that this was exactly what Earth's fleet wanted them to do. "Enemy ships are broadcasting again," the communication officer said. "They're giving us one last chance to surrender." "Tell them thanks, but no thanks," Robert said with a small smile. He pressed the button on his chair to talk to all Earth ships. "Remember your training. Hit them exactly where Lieutenant Mitchell showed us. Ready? Now." Earth's ships moved as one. Instead of trying to run away like the Council expected, they attacked first. Hundreds of ships fired at the same time, aiming at the weak spots in the alien shields. The Council ships didn't know what hit them. Their fancy shields, which could stop laser beams and energy weapons, did nothing against Earth's simple metal bullets and missiles. In fact, just like Lisa had discovered, their shields made things worse by bouncing the weapons around inside. "First wave successful," someone reported. 30 enemy ships disabled. No losses on our side. The Council fleet seemed confused. They had expected scared primitives, but instead got skilled warriors. Their perfect circle broke apart as ships tried to dodge Earth's attacks. "They're trying to regroup," Robert said, watching the enemy movements. "Don't let them. Execute pattern Delta." Earth's ships split into smaller groups, just like they had practiced. Each group picked different targets, making it impossible for the Council ships to defend themselves properly. More alien ships went dark as Earth's weapons found their marks. "Commander," his science officer called out, "they're changing their shield frequencies. They're trying to adapt." Robert smiled. Too late. They should have done that years ago. He watched as another group of Council ships lost power. Sometimes being set in your ways can be dangerous. The battle continued for another hour. The Council ships had better technology, but Earth's ships had better training and tactics. Plus, they had something to fight for: their freedom and their home. "Sir," the communication officer suddenly called out, "we're picking up new signals. The Council fleet is calling for help." Robert checked his screens. Earth's fleet had disabled or destroyed almost 100 Council ships. The rest were pulling back, trying to get away. They hadn't expected such strong resistance. "Commander," Captain Walker's voice came through the speakers. "Good work out there. The Admiral wants all ships to hold position. Don't chase them." "Understood, Captain," Robert replied. He knew why. This was just the first battle. Let the Council ships run and tell their leaders what happened. Let them know that humans weren't easy targets. His crew looked tired but happy. They had just proved that humanity could stand up to the most powerful force in the galaxy. The Council had thought their advanced technology made them unbeatable. Now they knew better. "Message from Earth Command," the communication officer said. "They're saying civilian telescopes caught the whole battle. People are celebrating in the streets." Robert nodded. The Council had tried to frighten Earth's people by calling them Deathworlders. Instead, they had reminded humans of something important. Surviving on a harsh world had made them strong. "Send word to all ships," he ordered. "Good work today, but stay alert. The Council won't give up easily." This was just round one. As he watched the Council ships retreat, Robert thought about what would happen next. The Council would be back, probably with more ships. But now they knew something important. Humans weren't just Deathworlders. They were defenders of their home, and they would never give up their freedom without a fight. Major Ann Parker moved silently through the dark hallways of the Council's communication hub. The space station was huge, but thanks to the confusion after Earth's victory, security was surprisingly weak. Her special suit, designed to handle Earth's stronger gravity, made her stronger than any of the alien guards. "I'm in position," she whispered into her hidden microphone. Starting the data upload now. The Council thought their station was safe because no normal species could handle the physical strain of sneaking around in low gravity while carrying heavy equipment. But Annie wasn't from a normal world. She was from Earth. She plugged a small device into the alien computer terminal. Lieutenant Mitchell's team had worked day and night to make it compatible with Council technology. Now it was time to see if it worked. "Download starting," she reported. "Time to show the galaxy the truth." While the device copied the Council's secret files, Anne thought about how she got here. After the battle near Earth, the Council had called for an emergency meeting. They couldn't believe their ships had lost. This was her chance to sneak aboard their station during the confusion. "Major," a voice said in her ear, "Admiral Reynolds is ready, just waiting for your signal." Anne watched the download progress. The Council had lied to everyone about Earth. They had classified it as dangerous without even trying to understand humans. Now it was time to share the real story. "Download complete," she said. Starting the broadcast. All across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, communication systems suddenly changed. Instead of Council propaganda about dangerous Deathworlders, people saw the truth. They saw Earth's cities, art, and music. They saw humans helping each other, working together, and reaching for the stars. "They're trying to stop the broadcast," Anne reported, watching alien guards run past her hiding spot. "But they can't. We're using their own network against them." The messages continued. Earth showed the galaxy how the Council had attacked them without warning, how humans had only fought back to defend their freedom. The Council had expected humans to be violent monsters, but instead they found a united people fighting for their rights. "Major," her radio crackled, "you need to see this. Other species are responding to the broadcast. They're supporting us." Anne checked her tablet. Messages were pouring in from across the galaxy. Many species had suffered under the Council's strict rules. They saw humans standing up to the Council and found hope. "The Council's having an emergency meeting," someone reported. "Their leaders are fighting with each other. Some want to keep attacking Earth, but others are saying they were wrong about us." Anne smiled. The Council was built on the idea that they knew what was best for everyone. Now their own people were starting to doubt them. "Time to go," she said, unplugging her device. Mission accomplished. As she made her way back to her hidden ship, Anne could hear chaos spreading through the station. The Council's perfect system was falling apart. They had tried to paint humans as dangerous monsters, but their own lies were now exposed. "Major Parker to Earth Command," she said once she was safely in her ship. "Phase 1 complete. The galaxy knows the truth now." Admiral Reynolds' voice came through clear and strong. "Good work, Major. Come on home. Things are about to get very interesting." As her ship slipped away from the station, Anne thought about what would happen next. The Council's power was built on control and fear. Now that their lies were exposed, everything would change. Earth had won more than just a battle. They had started a revolution. "Heading home," she reported, setting her course for Earth. Behind her, the Council's station buzzed with panic as their perfect system crumbled. They had tried to cage humanity, but instead, humans had shown the galaxy how to be free. Dr. Michael Anderson walked quickly through the science lab, holding a tablet that could change everything. After weeks of studying Council data, he had found something amazing. Something that could prove Earth wasn't the dangerous world the Council claimed it was. "Admiral," he called out as he entered the command center. "I found it. The proof we need." Admiral Reynolds looked up from his meeting with Captain David Wilson, who had just returned from another successful battle against Council forces. Both men turned to listen. "Look at these numbers," Michael said, showing them his tablet. "The Council thinks our world made us violent because it's harsh, but their own data shows something different." He touched the screen, bringing up charts and graphs. "Earth isn't just tough. It's balanced. Our predators made us careful, not violent. Our storms made us work together, not fight each other. Everything that made Earth hard to live on actually made us better. Can you prove it? Reynolds asked, looking closely at the data. Michael nodded. Their own testing system shows it. They just never bothered to look at the whole picture. They saw a hard world and stopped looking. But I can prove that Earth's challenges made us stronger in the right ways. Captain Wilson spoke up. This could change everything. The Council's whole reason for attacking us was that they thought our world made us too dangerous. Sir, a communication officer called out. Captain Wilson's fleet just spotted something. 3 Council ships are approaching under a white flag. They're asking to talk. Reynolds smiled. Looks like our broadcast worked better than we hoped. Some of them are starting to think for themselves. He turned to Michael. Get your proof ready, Doctor. We might need it soon. The main screen lit up, showing the 3 Council ships. They were smaller than the battleships from before, built for speed rather than fighting. A new voice came through the speakers. Earth Command, the voice said. I am Representative Lux of the Council's Science Division. We wish to discuss what we have learned about your world. Reynolds looked at Michael, who nodded eagerly. We're happy to talk, the Admiral replied. We have some interesting data to share with you as well. Over the next few hours, Michael showed the Council scientists his findings. He explained how Earth's gravity made human bones strong, but also taught them to be careful. How dangerous animals made humans smart and creative, not just violent. How working together to survive storms and disasters made humans care about each other more, not less. This, Representative Lux said after seeing all the proof, this changes everything we thought we knew. We need to take this to the full Council. Captain Wilson, who had been quiet for a while, stepped forward. Will they listen? Some of them seemed pretty set on containing us. They'll have to listen, Lux replied. These findings don't just change how we see Earth. They change how we understand all worlds we call dangerous. We've been wrong about so many things. Admiral Reynolds stood up straight. Then let's make sure everyone knows the truth. Dr. Anderson's proof, combined with Major Parker's broadcast, should be enough to make even the stubborn ones think twice. More ships approaching, someone reported. But they're not Council vessels. They're from other worlds. They're asking to talk to Earth directly, not through the Council. Michael looked at his data again, smiling. We didn't just prove Earth isn't dangerous. We proved that sometimes the hardest worlds produce the best people. Reynolds nodded. Send word to all commands. The tide is turning. Earth isn't just fighting for itself anymore. We're showing the galaxy a better way. As more ships arrived, everyone in the command center felt the change coming. The Council's perfect system was breaking down, replaced by something new, something better. And it all started because they tried to cage the wrong planet. Colonel Jennifer Hughes stood in front of the Council's main chamber doors. After weeks of planning, Earth's boldest mission was about to begin. Behind these doors, the Council's leaders were fighting about what to do with Earth. Jennifer was here to help them make the right choice. Team in position, she said quietly into her radio. Her squad of 20 soldiers waited nearby, all wearing the special suits that let them move easily in the station's low gravity. You're clear to proceed, Colonel. Admiral Reynolds' voice came through her earpiece. Remember, we're not here to fight unless we have to. Jennifer nodded, even though the Admiral couldn't see her. Understood, sir. We're here to make a point, not start a war. She stepped forward, and the big doors opened. Inside, hundreds of alien representatives sat in a huge round room. They all turned to stare as Jennifer walked in, her boots making loud sounds in the sudden quiet. What is the meaning of this? One of the Council leaders demanded. How dare you enter this chamber? Jennifer smiled. We're here because you wouldn't listen any other way. But don't worry. If we wanted to fight, we wouldn't have walked through the front door. The chamber erupted in loud voices. Some Council members looked angry, others scared, and some looked relieved, like they had been waiting for this. The human speaks truth, a voice called out. It was Representative Lux, who had seen Dr. Anderson's proof. "We must listen. Look around you. They could have attacked us, but they came to talk." Another council member stood up. "But they're from a death world. Their very presence here is dangerous." "Is it?" Jennifer asked loudly. All eyes turned to her again. "We've been here for hours already. My teams have been all over this station. Have we hurt anyone? Have we broken anything?" She paused. "Or have we shown you exactly what you refused to see, that we're not the monsters you thought we were?" The room got quiet again. Jennifer pulled out a small device and pressed a button. The big screen behind her lit up, showing images from Earth. But these weren't the usual pictures of cities and technology. These were different. "Look," she said. "Here's a human running into a burning building to save a stranger. Here's a doctor working 30 hours straight to save lives. Here's people from different countries working together to stop a disaster." She looked around the room. "You called our world harsh, but it taught us to care for each other. You called us dangerous, but we only fight to protect." More council members were nodding now. They had all seen Major Parker's broadcast and Dr. Anderson's proof. Now they were seeing the real heart of humanity. "But there's more," Jennifer continued. "While you were busy trying to contain us, something bigger was happening." She changed the images. Now they showed ships. Hundreds of ships from other worlds gathering near Earth. "All these worlds you called dangerous," she said. "They're not asking you for permission anymore. They're joining together, creating something new, something better than your containment and control." The council leaders looked worried. Their perfect system was falling apart in front of them. But Jennifer wasn't done. "We're not here to destroy the council," she said firmly. "We're here to change it, to make it better, to show you that strength doesn't have to mean violence, and different doesn't have to mean dangerous." She looked around the room one last time. "So what's it going to be? Will you keep fighting a war you can't win, or will you help us build something new?" The chamber erupted in voices again, but this time they were different. This time, people were talking about change, about new possibilities, about a future where being from a harsh world didn't make you an enemy. Jennifer smiled as she listened to the chaos. The council had tried to cage humanity because they were afraid. Instead, they had forced humanity to show the galaxy a better way. John walked down the dark street. The night was cold and quiet. He pulled his coat tighter around him. Up ahead, he saw a small light. It was coming from an old house at the end of the road. John had heard stories about that house. People said strange things happened there. They said a mean old woman lived there long ago. Some said her ghost still haunted the place. John didn't believe in ghosts, but still, the house gave him a bad feeling. As he got closer, the light in the window went out. The house was dark and still. Suddenly, John heard a loud crash. It came from behind the house. He froze and listened hard. He thought he heard something moving in the darkness. Common sense told John to keep walking. Whatever made that sound was probably just an animal. There was no reason to be scared. But John's curiosity was stronger than his fear. He had to find out what it was. Slowly, John walked up the front steps of the house. Each stair creaked under his feet. He reached the front door. Up close, he could see it was very old. The paint was cracked and peeling. John reached out a shaky hand. He turned the rusty doorknob. To his surprise, the door opened easily. It made a loud squeak as it swung open. John peeked his head inside. The room was dark and empty. The only light came from the moon shining through the dirty windows. The floor was covered in a thick layer of dust. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. John took a careful step inside. The floorboards groaned beneath him. He paused and looked around. The room smelled musty, like wet soil and rotting wood. John jumped as his shadow moved in the corner. He stared hard into the darkness. Then he laughed nervously. It was just an old coat rack. He shook his head, feeling silly for being scared. Then John heard it again, a crash from the back of the house. It sounded closer this time. He could hear things rattling and thumping. A chill ran down John's spine. Something or someone was definitely moving back there, and it was coming toward him. This passage sets up the suspenseful scene with John exploring a spooky abandoned house at night. I've written it in simple language from a third-person perspective, as requested. The story ends on a cliffhanger, with John hearing ominous noises coming towards him from within the house. I aim to make it interesting by building up an eerie atmosphere and a growing sense that John is in danger from an unknown threat. Let me know if you would like me to modify or expand the story in any way. I can refine it further or continue the narrative from here.